Yeah, I got off of Instagram and Twitter and all that stuff. I was letting whatever I seen affect me on a day-to-day basis. You know, I wasn't the same person. I took a couple weeks off from not even looking at posts, and I just felt so free. I just think how y'all consume the game is trash. Like, are you good or not?
One of the most confusing things that I think I've covered on this channel on a consistent basis is Kevin Durant's behavior off of the court. It's not that he does anything that's harming anyone, it's just really bizarre. Now that we get all that out of the way, cue the intro. Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? It's been a very difficult year and a half for Kevin Durant. If watching the team that you left, the Golden State Warriors, a team that was supposed to be rebuilding once you left them, a team that quite literally got the #2 overall pick in the NBA draft following your departure, a team that has been battling injuries and whose core was supposed to be past their prime, if watching them win a championship without you a year ago wasn't difficult, if then needing to demand a trade as a result of the Brooklyn Nets not being on the same page as you and Kyrie Irving, which, by the way, you were in the middle of a win streak when you decided to do that. If that wasn't a bad look, if going to the Phoenix Suns and building yet another super team very shortly after being traded to the Suns, which I'm sure he 100% didn't have a hand in, but the fact that he's on another super team is quite hilarious, I have to admit. If that isn't a reason to meme you mercilessly, if going to the Golden State Warriors following blowing a 3-1 series lead during the 2016 playoffs, a team that won the most games in a single season in NBA history, that would have possibly won the NBA Finals if Draymond Green didn't decide to punch LeBron James in the nuts. If that wasn't a reason to humiliate you, then obviously Kevin Durant's oversensitivity does have a tendency of humiliating himself. The best way we could describe Kevin Durant would be in this short. Now, this reached a brand new level recently, and originally we were going to make a video on this before free agency, but as a result of free agency starting, I felt like we should put this on the back burner and get you guys the actual transactions that are occurring. But then we got an update to the situation. So the inspiration behind this was originally Kevin Durant went into a Twitter space that was quite literally titled "Kevin Durant is not top 5." And he actually started getting into it with the people that were in the Twitter space.
I just think how y'all even look at the game as whack as playoff success. Like you factor in team success when you talking about players. I just think how y'all consume the game is trash. Like, are you good or not?
I agree.
I mean, some things could be that simple. Are you just good or not? I mean, a lot of people have seen it for a long time, brother. And it's okay. These lists don't really mean nothing anyway. So why are you getting so upset about them?
And this goes on for about 30 minutes. Kevin Durant is sitting in there and he's debating the living hell out of NBA fans on Twitter about why their parameters for what is a good basketball player is ridiculous. And a lot of the analysis he gives is very half-baked. Like, even in the beginning, just saying,
hey, sometimes it's as simple as determining whether you're good or not.
And I could understand, like, a lot of the human beings that were in the Twitter space were shocked that Kevin Durant just pulled up, because I would be kind of shocked too. And And I also want to say it was pretty damn cool that KD did this, and I'm not going to deny that. The one question I have is, why the hell did Kevin Durant go in this Twitter space to begin with? I mean, you're Kevin Durant. People are going to hate on you no matter what. People are going to always have something on you no matter what. I mean, on LeBron James, people usually say that, hey, he lost all of those NBA finals, and he's not as good as Michael Jordan. For Michael Jordan, they say he didn't have the longevity of LeBron James. There's always going to be some hater out there that's going to roast you for some reason. Like for me, it's probably like,
he makes clickbait content. His content is trash.
there's no way to make sure each and every person likes you. And although I think it's cool that he went into this Twitter space, I also think it's bizarre that he actually cares this much about what people think of him. But it kind of gets really crazy because he also completely destroys Jason McIntyre. And I think Jason McIntyre explains it the best himself. Check it out.
Once you say something nice about someone, they reply, okay, I see you. Then, when you say something not so nice, you get this. You're such a clown. You don't even like sports. You look like a drama major. I don't know what that means. I've never taken an acting class in my life. I said to KD, one of the 15 best players in the history of the NBA squabbling with anonymous fools in a comment section. It was never your brand when you won the MVP and 2 titles and finals MVPs. Why pivot that way now? He just got personal. You're a fool, blah, blah, blah. He used the P word to describe me. He calls me broke boy. Doesn't address any of it. Doesn't address why he would argue about being top 5. And again, I'm a Kevin Durant guy. Well, Jay, how are you a Kevin Durant guy if you're saying he's an idiot for battling guys in the comments section of a Twitter Spaces? Well, time out. This isn't black and white. You love this guy, you hate this guy. You can like someone and totally disagree with something they're doing. Are we really at the state where you have to be 100% all behind somebody or 100% against somebody? It doesn't work like that. So, bottom line, I still like Kevin Durant even though he's calling me all these names. He's hurt. I get it.
And to be honest, I don't think Jason McIntyre's take was too ridiculous. Like, bro, get off of Twitter. It's clearly messing with your head. I mean, one of the top things that I'm told, and I'm not even on the level of Kevin Durant, not even close to where Kevin Durant is in terms of celebrity. One of the top things that YouTubers are told, or people that may get a lot of comments on their content are told, is do your best to not read all of your comments. Because there's a lot of you guys that are incredibly kind, and I honestly can't follow this because I love reading and responding to you guys. But there's also a lot of people that'll troll the living hell out of you and say some really messed up stuff that can mess with your head. And if you read that in a large scale, which I'm assuming what Kevin Durant is doing, then obviously it could mess with your head a little bit. It gets even funnier. I mean, Kevin Durant starts memeing himself, which is a clear indication that the Twitter trolls are starting to really get to him, saying that I'm on Threads with the burner, come find me. This is obviously alluding to the fact that Kevin Durant was caught a while ago with a burner account. A fan calls him out and says, you don't think you're too grown to be acting like this, bro? Which I agree with him. And Kevin Durant responds to him saying, I lack maturity, which to be honest, he kind of does. A fan then asks him, why do you say that? Leaving what would be the greatest dynasty the NBA has ever seen because your ego couldn't take it. Obviously, you are more than dedicated to being great, except to you, that means me, me, me. I'm a true fan, just saying. I'll give it up to Kevin Durant. He actually gave a very fair response to this. I'm the most egoless and coachable player in sports. You've been brainwashed. I give him props for him not making a joke out of this, which typically that's his defense mechanism and coping mechanism. He'll just take your criticism and just make it into a joke. I think the straw that broke the camel's back for me was recently Kevin Durant went to war with the wrong person. I mean, this man didn't just tweet back at Kevin Durant. This man straight up declared war on KD. He saw his opportunity to cook the living Kevin Durant, and he cooked him so bad that Kevin Durant quite literally said, you win. This started with Ryan Davis leaving a comment on Kevin Durant's take on Instagram saying, KD just proved why he hasn't won outside of the Warriors. He doesn't know what wins championships. During the Warriors title run, they were always top 3 in defensive efficiency, except KD's last year there, which is a year that they actually lost to the Toronto Raptors. I like to think injuries played a hand in that, not discrediting the Raptors, but come on, they lost Klay Thompson, they lost KD. KD was quite literally playing on one leg and his Achilles snapped. But man, Kevin Durant really didn't like this. Ryan Davis is a trash comedian telling a 2-time champ that he doesn't know what it takes to win. Crazy out here. Okay, Kevin Durant. I mean, wow. Like Ryan Davis gave analysis, Kevin Durant just threw insults at Ryan Davis and really hyped himself up. I mean, yes, you're a two-time champ. You were on a super team, okay? Let's calm down here. But calling a man trash at his job, it's not like Ryan Davis called you trash. He just said this is why you didn't win. And man, Ryan Davis straight up destroyed Kevin Durant. So Ryan Davis opened this up remarkably by taking a personal shot at Kevin Durant because Kevin Durant took a personal shot at him.
Yesterday, Kevin Durant said that I was a trash comedian.
I'm like, what he say f me for?
Dang, bro, why you get personal? I ain't talking about that monstrosity sitting on top of your head. I kept it basketball.
And I have to admit, Ryan Davis gave a remarkable take here, and he presented his facts very clearly and very amicably, and he kind of made KD look like an idiot for taking a personal shot at him to begin with.
You said that offense wins championships instead of defense winning championships, and I disagreed. I said it's probably the thinking that you have is why you haven't got close to competing for a title since leaving Golden State. Because during Golden State's run, they had a top 3 defensive efficiency. That's a fact. Since defense isn't as important, explain this to me, Eddie Kane Jr. In the modern era of basketball, the Hall of Famers with the most titles, Kareem, Jordan, Pippen, Rodman, Kobe, Tim Duncan. They have at minimum 8 all-defensive selections. Not a bunch of scoring titles between all of them. All have a significant amount of all defense selection. You know what Kevin Durant has never had? I know you're thinking waves, and you're right. But Kevin Durant has never had an all defensive selection. The funny thing is, the only team that has had a bad defensive efficiency and still won the title is the 01 Lakers. And they had Kobe and Shaq. And ironically, both of them were all defensive selections that year. So even when there's a bad team defense, you still need your best players to be top tier on the defensive end.
It's really interesting that Ryan Davis says this because I remember when Kevin Durant signed with the Golden State Warriors originally, there was a huge point of emphasis in unlocking his defensive potential when he got there. And subsequently, in his first year, Kevin Durant had the highest defensive box plus minus of his career. There was a huge point of emphasis on Kevin Durant using his length because back then, the Golden State Warriors were one of the first teams to prioritize quick switches on defense to guard the pick and roll. When you have Kevin Durant's length and his agility on the perimeter, and the fact that KD didn't really put that much effort into defense at first, and you have a defensive-oriented team, obviously that's going to play a factor. Furthermore, if we're looking at basic statistics, Kevin Durant averaged 2.3 blocks per game during his first season with the Golden State Warriors, and then 2.5 blocks per game during his second season with the Golden State Warriors. So there was a huge point of emphasis on Kevin Durant playing defense once he got to the Warriors. And that was a huge part in why they won those championships with KD, in addition to having a terrifying offense, of course.
But I'll do you one better. You know who put an end to that Lakers dynasty? The Detroit Pistons. Our only Hall of Famer on the team is Ben Wallace, who averaged a whopping 6 points a game through his career. Defense.
Ryan Davis then cooks Kevin Durant for leaving the OKC Thunder after blowing a 3-1 series lead and says he has no heart, and integrates the fact that he has no heart to actual basketball and his ability to play defense.
But I wouldn't expect you to know anything about defense, Kevin Durant, because playing defense takes heart. And after you joined the Golden State Warriors after losing a 3-1 lead to them, we all knew you didn't have heart. Instead of wanting to run it back, you went ahead and joined the team that knocks you out of the playoffs.
Now, in my opinion, roasting Kevin Durant for joining the Golden State Warriors at this point is a very roastable offense, but at the same time, I think it's very low-hanging fruit. And this is why I think Ryan Davis's take is so awesome. He has already given us 3 instances of why defense is significant and more important than offense for winning championships. His next point is gonna blow your mind.
But my question is, why would you join them if scoring is what wins championships? Because you were the leading scorer in the league the year before that, and Russ, your teammate, won the scoring title the year after. You, the 2 best scoring dudes in the entire league was on the same team. Why would you leave?
Not only that, what's commonly forgotten is Kevin Durant's final games with the OKC Thunder were truly horrific, and Ryan Davis sure as hell remembers this, which is why I'm saying this take is awesome, because this man goes into such specific details when it comes to cooking Kevin Durant that I have to admit, it's really impressive.
And even though you were supposed to be the best scorer in the league, You were up 3-1, and what did you do in Game 5? You went 12 of 31 from the field. What did you do in Game 6? You went 10 of 31 from the field. So either the Warriors locked y'all up defensively to get past you, which would make defense more important, or you're a choke artist.
And this is Ryan Davis integrating a personal shot at KD as a result of a low point in Kevin Durant's career by saying this.
And then you have the nerve to name yourself Easy Money Sniper. You know what a sniper is? A killer. You know what a sniper is? Accurate. Those are two things you are not whenever a team is dependent on you to carry them to victory. You miss everything. That's why it makes sense that you went over to Golden State. They had already shown that they were killers and that they were winners. See, you only look like a killer whenever other killers are already in the room with you. You're like, not a sniper, you're the dude with the pea shooter. You just add a little bit on top.
If I was Kevin Durant, this would crush me. Like, this is where it gets really intense, because point of a good take is being able to convince someone that your perspective is proper or your perspective is right. Bro, the fact that Kevin Durant was able to win championships by adding his elite level of scoring on top of an already elite team makes this take a very proper take. He is cooking Kevin Durant.
See, in the game of basketball, when a team's best player gets hurt, the team suffers tremendously. When you got hurt in the playoffs when you was with Golden State, they still won the Western Conference Finals. They still went on to the finals. And if Klay Thompson didn't get hurt, they probably would have won without you. Which is what Draymond told you to your face when y'all were arguing, that they were winning before you and they'll win after you. And you left Golden State after that. And what they do? Won without you because they didn't need a pea shooter. See, Kevin, you're just a scorer. And not only are you a scorer, you're a scorer who doesn't score whenever your team needs you to score the most. See, if offense was what it took, then Mike D'Antoni would have several rings. That Phoenix Suns offense was the best offense I've ever seen in my life. They got Steve Nash 2 MVPs. That's twice as many as you, by the way, Kevin. Why doesn't Steve Nash have a ring? He doesn't even have a finals appearance. But you believe that offense is the way to go. So when you left Golden State, you went over to the Nets and you had them hire Steve Nash as your coach. You're the best scorer. He was on the best offensive scoring team of all time. All this offense, you added, you know what I mean, James Harden, and you added Kyrie Irving. So much offense. Why you get swept in the first round of the playoffs to the defensive-minded Celtics? Mr. Offense, explain it to me. The only thing in that series that was more abysmal than the aerial view of your scout was your shooting percentage in that series. But even though I've given you all these facts, you probably still disagree with me because you're an idiot that doesn't care anything about fact. So you're going to continue to stack your Phoenix Suns team with a bunch of scores. I suggest all you scoring focus on the defensive end because your scoring is good enough that you're going to score anyway. That's how you win a title. Go ahead, try to outscore everybody, and you and your cradle cap will be sent home again in the playoffs.
That was by far one of the greatest cooks I think I've ever seen. Kevin Durant's response to this was, where are the facts? And then he said, when did I say everything about defense? And then when he got called out about saying defense matters, but offense holds more priority since it's the original objective, he said, clearly, but you know, when I speak, people want to break it down into their own interpretations. They did the same thing with the Bible. Ha. Someone asks KD, bro, you got to come up with a video and respond because your tweets are not doing you any justice. And KD said, I'm not a content creator or IG comedian, so he wins. Congrats. Bro, at the end of the day, man, if you're getting to the point where you're insulting people whose jobs are quite literally to make people laugh, and you know you're gonna get cooked, why are you gonna go on social media anyway? It's a lose-lose situation. I don't necessarily understand why Kevin Durant does this because the disrespect he gets as a result of this is insane. He is without a doubt a Hall of Famer. He is without a doubt one of the greatest scorers of all time. He is without a doubt a mismatch on the offensive end, but I don't know why he puts himself out there to get cooked like this. It'll never make sense to me. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section down below. Aside from that, I'm your boy Mike, and I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.